Car Pro joining us with the Car Pro Show. And Jerry, did 2021 turn out the way we expected for the car industry? They dealt with a lot of challenges. Were they able to adapt and come through?
Uh, Sales are going to be down this year. There's no doubt. The microchip shortage caused such a disruption in production of cars all over the world that sales are going to be down for 2021, but still better than it looked like it was going to be a few months ago. The manufacturers started building more cars toward the end of 2021, and that really helped, especially the dealers who rely on December as being the biggest month of the year.
When you're talking about the computer chip shortage, are things getting better in that aspect of life? Have they started producing more?
Yeah, they have, but not nearly what they would like to produce. I mean, it's some of the car companies have been hit harder than others. Toyota, Subaru, uh, Ford, those three have been hit the hardest, but they are starting to loosen up now. I think Toyota is the one that's still really, really suffering, and they're just not able to build enough due to the microchip shortage. And their whole thing for years was just in time parts. So they're very efficient with that. And they'd get the parts needed to build that day's production the day before. So they're not stockpiling anything. Well, that worked out great until the chip shortage, which was caused by COVID.
What can we say about the demand for electric cars or hybrids after what we've seen with the chip shortage and whatnot? Has that been affecting sales or pre-orders for companies like Tesla or any of the hybrid models that some other companies offer?
Tesla probably did the best job with the chip shortage. They have lost very little production. But I think what's fueling electrics and hybrids, especially right now, is we've seen a rise in gas prices. And that happens every time gas goes up, especially in California. Uh, my listeners out in the LA area, all they want to talk about is electric and hybrids right now. And a lot of that is gas prices because they're up around $5 a gallon now. It's got them thinking.
When we're talking about buying a new car, used car, are people starting to say, maybe I'll just hang on to my old car and fix it up because it might be cheaper to fix up what they have now as opposed to buying new or used?
Yeah, I've heard that. The spike that we've seen in used car prices has primarily been late model cars with average or lower miles, the really clean cars. And those prices on used cars right now are it's up 38% from where they were a year ago. So the market for popular brand new cars is MSRP plus. If you get a new car today for MSRP, you're doing really well. But if you've got a trade in and it's up 38 to 40%, your bottom line is still much better right now than it was a year ago.
You get the fun privilege of testing all kinds of cars throughout the years. What were some of your favorites for 2021?
Yeah, I just finished this morning with an all electric Mustang Mach E, which was a fun experience. But last year, when I looked back, and I've got a newsletter that goes out every week, and I always recap my year of what were my favorite reviews. I had the Jeep Grand Cherokee L, which is the first extended version with a third row seat. Jeep also came out with the new Grand Wagoneer, a huge luxury SUV that competes with Cadillac Escalade and those types. Uh, from the Ford Motor Company, I had the Mach E. I had a Ford Bronco, which was spectacular, and I had the Maverick Hybrid, which is a new, really small pickup. I also had the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and those two compete with each other. They're about the same size. Nice cabins, but a very short bed on the back. I had the trio of General Motors big SUVs that are built here in Arlington. and I loved every one of those. And then probably my favorite, I had the McLaren 720S, which had over 700 horses and cost $360,000. That was fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. Let's look to 2022. What's your crystal ball say as far as what could be big this year?
I think with the government mandates on fuel economy by 2025, which they just announced the other day, electrics are going to be big this year. They've got to be, or the auto manufacturers can't get to the numbers they need to in just 3 years. But I think first quarter of 2022, the chip shortage is still going to play out to be a big story for the auto industry. After that, I see it lightening up some and then being normal, hopefully by the summer. There's a lot of new chip manufacturers that are opening new plants, and they're gonna flood the market with chips. But there's so much pent up demand for cars. It's good. People, cars are going to come in and go right out, and that's what we're seeing today. So many people have pre-sold. The dealers have been really good about ordering cars for people to get them in as quick as they possibly can. All the factories, the manufacturing, auto manufacturers are prioritizing the sold orders, the cars that people order. This is a new way of doing business for the car dealers, but they have done a very good job adapting.
Speaking of doing business, we started seeing most recently in the industry, the salesman kind of being replaced through online, orders, or, doing everything online, or Carvana or whatnot, removing the salesman. Is that becoming still popular, or what is the verdict on that? Is that becoming more of a trend?
No, not really, Kristen. I mean, it's hard to replace salespeople because there's so much to do. When you're buying a car, spending that kind of money, you want somebody who's going to be knowledgeable of the car. You can read all you want to online, but until you get behind the steering wheel and actually drive that car, you can't possibly know if it's the right car for you. And so I don't see that as an issue. Uh, Trying to get good salespeople, that's a real problem for the dealers and has been for as, as long as I can remember. But no, I think dealers, because of COVID, going back a year and a half ago, because of COVID, they had to get really good at being responsive online, answering questions. That's a job a salesperson does. But they also had to get real good at going to people's houses and their offices to show them the cars. And now the next big trend is mobile service. So many dealerships have got a big truck and a big trailer, two technicians that go out and do jobs at people's homes and offices. And, I've looked at it pretty closely. I can't tell that the charge is any more to do it mobile than it is in the house. So that's something to watch for next year.
Back to electrics for just a second. Will electric cars become more mainstream once they figure out the length of time that it takes to fill the tank with electricity, as opposed
Yeah.
to the 90 seconds that it takes to fill it with gas?
Look, the only way to have an electric car is if you've got a level two or level three charger at your home. I just went through this with this Mustang. I had to sit in a hotel parking lot charging up yesterday for an hour and a half to be able to get to work this morning. So I'm just sitting there playing on my phone, twiddling my thumbs, and it's a slow process unless you've got one of the more powerful chargers. About $800, you can get a level three charger, which will take you from 0 miles of range to 100% in less than 10 hours. So that's going to be one of the keys. The other key is longer range in general. Most people, if you've got a short commute, electric car is a great way to go. You'll never go to a gas station again. But then again, if that's your only car and you want to take a vacation and go across the country, you're hampered. I mean, you're going to be building your trip around charging stations. So for me, I think the future will hold possibly one electric car in a household and one gasoline car, so that you can go long distances. And a hybrid, for me, even right now, as fun as electric cars are. I mean, this Mustang I just had was 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, just like that, and was the equivalent of 430 horses. So it was very fast. But a hybrid will give you the best of both worlds, especially a plug-in hybrid where you've got a short distance to drive, all battery, and then it switches over to gasoline. To me, that's the most practical thing, at least for now.
Wonderful. Jerry, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Like I said, we always like picking your brain.
Anytime.
Thanks, Jerry.
Oh, that's
Thank y'all.
awesome.
Have a
good
great
one.
new year.
Have a great
Merry
new
Christmas.
year.
Here.